Okay, y'all, it is Wednesday, December 18th. I cannot even keep up. Let's go. I wasn't going to start with this, but it just keeps rolling around in my head, right? The idea that they already have the report/letter from the executive order, the one that's required. It's produced, or it has to be produced. And the question came up of, well, does it have to be instantly declassified? Do we have to see it, or can they, hold it close to chest? And now it won't get out of my head. Like, oh my gosh, we're not letting you go anywhere. You're not going anywhere. We're keeping you around, kid. All the general lifted spirits of multiple leaders on that side, right? Where they went from Gavin Newsom, I keep using him as an example. Hey, we're ready to push back, and we've got a plan in place too. We'll see what happens. All will be revealed. It takes time. It might be weeks or months. And like other folks are just now realizing, and I think I mentioned it in a prior post, the executive order, if enacted, buys weeks and months of time. And yes, there's discussion around exactly who's going to have what. A lot of bots are really, really pushing the narrative that, no matter what, January 20th is going. Doesn't matter what's found or what happens. Nothing's going to stop it. And of course, because the bots are saying that so vehemently, we know it is not true. I keep saying it. It's going to be uncharted waters. We haven't had something happen like this before. So I don't know what the resolution is going to be. I would assume that if legal challenges are presented, like criminal, how big it is, it might not just be a question of retest. I don't know. They might ask us. I hope they ask us for our input. That would be nice, but that might be a fantasy. But anyway, yeah, it just makes sense. We have Miss Ma'am who gave her speech yesterday, and then the email that was sent echoed essentially the same message and the same verbiage. So it was important to her that everyone who's on that side got the same message before the holidays, similar to Thanksgiving, which was, hey, go spend time with your family. But when we're done, when we come back, get ready to roll up your sleeves. I challenge you to keep that drive and come back. And again, a lot of folks are interpreting that as, they just mean they don't want people to lose engagement. And yes, that's true. But again, we are not hearing from any key person free and fair. Let it go. That we're not worried about these things. Everything is fine. We had the congressional hearing today. And yes, it was a not sexy meeting. It wasn't. I'm excited about it, but I realize some of y'all were like, they're just talking about how to stop interference. It's not that. And I'm like, no, okay, sorry. I got excited and I forgot I have to choose some things for you guys. So timeline speaking, you have to remember these people came out with a warning before the test saying, hey, there's suspected this. This has been something that's been watched, meaning they were already on top of it before it even started. They already knew. Okay. We had international events in other countries where there was interference by the same agents that were doing things over here with the same purposes and same results. And now we're at a point where we just passed that threshold, the Electoral College meeting. And for some reason, a lot of folks were hoping for the faithless elector plot. I told you that wasn't going to be the plot. Listen, Ms. Ma'am is going to want the path of least controversy. All right. If it happens this way, and again, if it doesn't, plan B is we meet in the street. So for those who are going to come in here and go, okay, stop spreading hopium. If nothing happens, what's your plan B? Plan B is, all right, that's my plan B. All right, I'm going to come see you personally and hand deliver that special message if you keep coming in my comments talking about what's the plan B. The plan B is we are still not rolling over. Rolling over is never the option. We are not going to comply with a criminal enterprise. Okay, there's your answer. It's not going to be the one you want either way. All right, do I have to get my hat? Do I have to, hold on, wait, let me get my hat. Yeah, not my president. You triggered? Snowflake. Our turn. Okay, we are ready to be petty, darling. So that's the answer. Okay, you didn't like that? Too bad. All right, now I got to go back and see where I was. Where was I? Timeline. Right, okay. So the college getting together and certifying what came in. They received, we have reports. We're not seeing it on mainstream because why would you announce that on mainstream? But there have been reports coming from the electors themselves stating that they were told not to leave the country until after January 20th, which is an interesting directive. That's not a normal instruction. And then the day after, and like we said, per the FBI's own regulations, a lot of you guys keep coming into our comments and going, and where did you find that? It's Googleable, okay? It's literally in their own regulations. You can look at the government fucking website. That's where it is. Where it says, if they suspect interference with a test, it has to be certified by the Electoral College before they can do anything. If they were to try to intervene before that happens, it ruins the case for them. And for something this big, you want it to be air fucking tight. You don't want to ruin it because a couple of people on TikTok were impatient. So now you're just going to pull the trigger and we're going to do it now because Joan said she's tired of waiting. Like, some of you guys are impossible, and some of y'all really think the world revolves around your little uncomfortable feelings. This is so hard. I'm not patient and I'm uncomfortable and this is making me anxious and I just need it to start now. Okay, I don't care about the rest of the world. I care about us, and those are bots too. Okay, I'm noticing those two. Those are funny. I don't care about Ruski. I just care about Dumpty. Okay, bot, that's not suspicious at all. So them having this little discussion after that has been sealed, or not sealed, but after that event is just bringing up the headline again. It's laying the framework. I know that they were saying that there could have been some fiddling on either side. And like I said, I don't care. Okay, whatever works. And someone said it in the comments. That will probably help to control the Mad Hatters as well. If they think that there's stuff on both sides, then they'll be more likely to do a do-over or whatever the resolution may be, as opposed to something showing up just proving that their team was wrong, because you know how they deal with accountability. They take to smearing their own excrement on things and flinging poop like actual apes and monkeys, and then telling everyone that they're superior and that people who look like me are the inferior ape-like monkey people. But I wasn't smearing dookie in the walls of DC, but you know, keep telling yourself that white Delulu story. Oh, superior my ass. Okay. I wonder if they already have it and they're just letting folks sweat. And yes, I do think that while Dumpty is almost always pulling for a government shutdown, every time they're fighting over budget, he's always trying to get the Republicans to let everything just shut down. That's like his favorite thing. I don't know why, but he fantasizes about a government shutdown. How would that affect things? I don't believe it would affect any of the processes. I think it affects paychecks, right? So people wouldn't get paid. A lot of people wouldn't get paid, including veterans and anyone who's getting any form of government paycheck. But what's funny to me about that is there's only one side that's like, we're not going to show up if money's not coming. And it's Team Red. Team Red barely shows up when they're getting their paycheck. So if there's no check, they're not showing up. Guess who is more likely to show up without pay? So I don't think that will help him in any way, but I think he thinks it will. Emerald Baby thinks it will. They know. All right. For the folks who keep going, well, how come they don't know yet? Oh, they figured it out now. That's why they're like government shutdown. That's why they're making extra threats. That's why they're looking for extra frivolous lawsuits and calling Ann Seltzer polls election interference, so that he can say that, well, if there was international interference on the behalf of his side, well, hey, what about these pollsters that were campaigning for her? Doesn't that equate to the same thing? And of course it doesn't, but they're stretching because they realize that they are caught. And no, they can't go back and get rid of the evidence because it was a trap. Everything's been captured. And then at the end, they took their mask off and admitted to everything. It is beautiful. So at this point, yeah, they're just going to be splashing around trying to avoid the net. That is absolutely coming. The question is when, how, where, we don't know exactly. We don't know exactly. So I need you to not expect everything to pop off on one particular date. And if that doesn't happen, you're giving up. Like I said, the only one we have to worry about is the J20. And if we get all the way there with nothing happening, then I will see you in the streets.